Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Vox Markets for Wednesday, the 29th of September. And starting off with Anglo Asian mining, which nearly appeared yesterday, but I thought, well, it wasn't quite up towards the 50-day moving average. And also, in the recent past, the shares haven't actually done very much. So that was obviously not great thinking. But the real success here was the bear trap rebound. We had a narrow bear trap from below the old April support at £1.17.5. Went down to, what was that, 15, something like that. So that narrow two-day narrow bear trap rebound, normally a decent signal, and should have been followed up on. Current situation is that above that broken resistance line there at £1.35 on an end-of-day close basis, we could hit the February resistance line there at £1.63, perhaps by the end of next month. There was also bullish divergence in the RSI window, which I also missed. So there we are. On to a stock which I haven't covered before, but maybe it'll be the first of many inclusions. Here we have our active ops with a bear trap gap reversal. So here we had the low of August there at £1.64. 3 days below that level and then gapping higher today. So that's a pretty strong signal. Initial target at that resistance line there from back in April, £1.82, maybe over the next few days, and then after that up to the 200-day moving average of £1.90, perhaps on a 2-week time frame for the shares. Obviously at the moment it looks like they'll get there in a couple of days, but let's be conservative. Our old friend Amigo, if that's not a horrible pun, is next. Tried to avoid this, looking at this in the recent past, I suppose, but here we've got the shares pulling back from that former peak there from earlier in the month at 14.4, bouncing above the 50-day moving average at 9.5 pence, and an end-of-day close above the top of that gap down that we had at 12.5 pence would be a decent buy signal for the shares to return to the 20 pence area, which has, apart from that blowout that we had at the end of April and into May, 20p has been the ceiling for the shares for most of the past year. So let's see if that pans out well. Welcome return of Nostra Terra, which seems to have found its mojo in quite a dramatic way. So great announcements today regarding funding, etc. Here we've got a break of that resistance line there from February and the 50-day moving average at 0.42. End of day close above July resistance at 2.5, I suppose, at 0.53, let's call it. Could give us a easy retest of February resistance at 0.8 pence. Perhaps as soon as the end of next month, but want to see the shares hold the low 0.5s. In the meantime, on to Petrotal, which has been a recovery situation of late. Gap through resistance, which is always great. Did that earlier in the month, around 18, 19 pence. And the view is that while we're above 18 or 19 pence, we see the shares hit that September resistance line from last year at 30 pence. By the end of next month. Nice little sort of handle there on the right-hand side of the chart. Another stock which is in focus in a good way at the moment is Pilatro. Here we've got the shares. I think they've just managed to. There's the narrowest of bear traps there earlier this month, just below 36 pence. So that's a plus for the technicals. Current situation is we've snapped that resistance line there from back in April and the 50-day moving average at 38 pence. Above that, looking to fill the gap up from June at 52 pence by the end of next month. On to a stock which is one of the favourites from the early part of the year, and the great bubble that we had in Q1, Q2. Here we've got Sareum, and it looks like it's sort of shuffled along. It's shuffled itself along, finding support at that uptrend line from June. Support there at around 6.25 pence, and above that looking for at least 7.5 initially, which is late August resistance. Best case scenario target while we're above the 6.25 area up to 11 pence, perhaps by the end of November, hoping that the stock will rehabilitate itself and get going after the consolidation that we've had since June. Stock which I used as an illustration for the way that you can buy shares when they're new to the market is Thungela Resources. Here we broke that opening range. That was around 125 and on the support and 155, let's say, on resistance. And obviously we've never really looked back since breaking out through £1.55. Broadening triangle here, which is normally a very good sign as well. That's derived from that resistance line there from June, heading to £5, presumably or hopefully by the end of next month, while we hold above yesterday's high at £3.94. Stock which is also new to the bulletin board heroes is TransGlobal Energy. Just thought I'd throw this in. Here we've got a situation with what looks like it's going to be a broadening triangle ascent. Here we've got the top resistance line there coming up pointing up towards £2.30. That could be hit by the end of November, while we hold above the initial 2021 resistance at £1.50. It's above 150, looking for 225 by the end of November. Finishing off with the stock which had some promise a week or two ago, and especially when it broke that line of resistance, which I think I tweeted out about, around 24p, 25p. Drew a crazy line there from February, which was the target, just shy of 40 pence, and that's been hit today, which is always pleasing. Current situation is that above the 31 pence level, we're looking for 40 pence to be retested, but only an end-of-day close above that would give us the 60 to 70 pence price action or price levels that we had this time last year. But at least while we're above the low 30s, still looking pretty strong for ValiRx. And no news so far, so it's either an announcement or a cooling RNS. Let's see what it is. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.